Hello, wonderful souls. Welcome to the third session of Navigate, Navigating, Creating, and Igniting. I'm Valerie, and I'm thrilled to be here with each and every one of you for this special session. And the topic that we have selected is self-acceptance. Today, we delve into the transformative power of self-acceptance, and it's the cornerstone of personal growth and inner peace inside of everyone. It's about embracing all the beautiful facets that make you, the special you. It's about your strengths, your challenges, and in a world that sometimes urges us to conform. Self-acceptance is a rebellion of love for ourselves. Self-acceptance is a journey of acknowledging your worth, honoring your unique path, and cultivating love for every part of your being. It's not about perfection, it's about being authentic. So when you fully embrace your true self, you open the door to positive transformation and living authentically. So today I encourage you to take a moment right now and reflect on your journey. So what strengths have you discovered within yourself? How have your unique identity was shaped? What challenges have contributed to the person that you are today here? And now, as we explore the self-acceptance together, I'm delighted to introduce our fantastic facilitator, Corey, who will guide us through this transformative journey of our soul in searching for self-acceptance of ourselves. So let's welcome Corey, the true beacon of wisdom in the realm of self-discovery. So Corey, what can you show us today that is so special to find the self-acceptance inside?
Well, thank you so much, Valerie. And I'm so celebrating this topic today. I don't know if those who are here live, it's so good, by the way, Tessa, hi. Tessa's a creative, I know. So great to know your energies with us and all the others here live and those who will be here on the replay. Valerie and I met as art therapists, and this idea came through her to do these live streams. And when she invited me into it, I just said yes. And what's really fun about it is we're co-creating here with you live and with all of universal intelligence, because Valerie gets a theme and then she shares it to me. And this morning I sat in the quiet and I asked life source, whatever you're going to want to call it, universe, God, please, goddess, please guide us as we uncover our essence and have that self-acceptance. And then all of a sudden I get a download, I call them. And I really saw clearly that those unique things that Valerie's talking about, those things that make us this incredible fractal of the universe, our unique selves, these things, we each have them, and we have this incredible uniqueness and flavor that is just beautiful and part of the whole. We grow up in a realm where we get conditioned and we get belief systems, which usually aren't even our own. They come from those who are first around us when we're forming, our caregivers, our teachers, our cultures, and they can layer up. I literally saw stuff layering up over top, hiding these beautiful parts of us. And a lot of these are very critical and painful layers. And we pick these up as belief systems. I call them BS, bull poop. And they're from outside of ourselves. But what happens is over time, they can actually come in and turn against us. And that can really affect our self-love and acceptance. We actually start to really believe these things. They become part of our thoughts, and everything comes from the seed of thought. So if our thoughts are loving and accepting, we move and groove and flow as that. But if our thoughts are seated, and like I said, often they're not our own, they're conditioned thoughts. And now the science can show us that from the ages of 0 to 7, we are in hypnosis. Our brains are in theta state. Right now, we're in probably a relaxed beta. We're in our linear logical mind discussing concepts here on this call. But when we are little ones, getting these impressions, often they're very felt sense things too. They're not necessarily even said to us. It's just what we feel. We're really taking this in, and our thoughts are not full of self-acceptance. In fact, they can be very critical and judgmental. And I think every human knows we have these thoughts, but do we ever stop to actually literally see them and take a look at them? And what I'm going to invite you to today is to literally get them out on a page and to use them as the ultimate art material, to use them for your growth and change. So I'm going to invite you into see what stories are you telling yourself that are covering up your self-acceptance today. And all you need to do to join in the workshop for this, to create a whole new reality from these heavier thoughts, so that we can transform them into the truth of who you are and magnify your self-acceptance, grow that in you. I invite you to simply take a page, write this, or if you have an art book, Valerie often has her sketchbook, that'll work too. She's just going to go get it, I think. So while she's doing that, all you'll need today is a page. I always put mine on this clipboard for you to see, and have a writing pen nearby. We're going to do a bit of writing today, unlike the last few times. So grab a pen that really flows and feels good in your hand, and it can have color too. And feel free to grab some colors of some sort. So I usually throw a bunch of crayons, oil pastels in a basket, and again, have them loose like this, not all tight, so that you can grab them easily. Because when we create this way, we're literally moving information from inside of us onto the page. So we want to be able to do that in a really playful and quick way without trying to make anything, because trying is a program too. So what I invite you to do is to just get all your materials laid out near you. And I think Valerie's going to show us on her little frame what's coming out of her as she creates. So if you're in a space where you can't create, maybe you're in a waiting room at a doctor's office, or I don't know where, don't have your materials, you can watch and enjoy through her too. And let's just see what some of these stories that are layering up the part of us that is self-loving and self-accepting. Let's see what some of these stories are that run interference with that. So just inviting you into your breath right now. And if you feel comfortable, just feet on the floor and choose if you want your hands up to receive, if you need a bit of a boost, or if you want to ground your energy, just lay your hands down in the way that feels right for you. Soften your eyes, and let's take 3 deep, slow flow breaths. So the inhale is slow, and make your exhale doubly slow. Double what you inhale. Okay, 1 for the body, 1 for the mind, and 1 for your amazing spirit. Inhaling for the body. Inviting your body to come online. And as you exhale, just release anything from your body that you don't need to be carrying right now. As you come into full self-acceptance. Inhaling slowly now through the mind, inviting your conscious mind, which is 5% of who you are, and your subconscious, which is 95% of you. As you exhale, move that through your body and your heart, which is that subconscious part of you, holding all the memory files. Inviting one more breath for your spirit, your incredible spirit, that wider part of you that never dies, it just changes form. And now in that slow flow breath, I want to invite you to take that paper in front of you and delineate a half. So you can either, if it's a loose paper like mine, go ahead and fold it in half like a storybook. Or if you have a sketchbook like Valerie, just draw a line down the middle. So it's like we're opening up a book. So there you go. And I'm inviting you now, I have big paws trying to open this page, to just take your pen to your page, to half of the page. So choose a half and start writing out the story of all those critical and painful, sometimes painful and tender, but the critical judgmental words that you hear inside of you that layer up and cover up that self-acceptance and self-love. Might be things that are about your body. We dip the breaths into body, mind, spirit. You might sometimes hear when I was growing up, I have a very long nose. It was things like, God, I hate my nose. God, your nose is long. These sort of things, right? Grown to love my nose now. Took some inner work. Then there can be things going on with your mind. Maybe your mind is just racing, or it's that, I don't know, I'm so cloudy. Like, God, why are you so scattered? Why can't you organize yourself? These things that we can say and use against us. Or maybe your mind is in a really heavy place. So it's like, just, there's no hope. Like, you can't do anything right. There's certain words that come through, and just allow them. We give full permission here. You're in a very safe space to bring these words through, and they're on your page. So they're there for you. They're going to give you a lot of information about the downloads that you received when you were little. Maybe there's something about your spirit. Maybe you're just feeling lost and disconnected from life, or maybe you're just feeling that there is a lot of stuff that you want your spirit to experience, but you just don't know how. Or there's so many thoughts. You can maybe even have thoughts that you notice that are linking together or looping together, or thoughts that seem disjointed. It's okay. Just spill them on the page. And as you do, breathe deep. Allow for this to happen, because so often we avoid these things, but what we resist persists. And what we're doing here is we're naming and claiming these things that are so tender, and they've been running in and through you for a long time. Remember, I said these things are conditioned into us since we're children, and we all have them in our own colors, shapes, and forms. So as we let them out, feel yourself exhale, and just feel the release of them, the heaviness, some of the cloudiness, the hopelessness, the unworthiness pieces. Let them all out. And again, they're belief systems. They're BS. They're not true. And they're layering up, and they're heavy in you. Some of you might be thinking, God, I've been keeping these secrets. But their secrets bind our energy, and they don't allow us to express all of who we are. When you get finished, like Val's page looks pretty full, you can, if you feel you need more time, go ahead and pause the video if you're on the replay. You can always go back, and she's starting to kind of bring in another color because she's making different connections. Just do it whatever way lights you up. You'll just know your way in rhythm. And when you get to the place, I'm going to go a little bit speedy today because we only have 30 minutes. But when you get to the point where you feel, okay, yeah, this is enough, I'm full, do like Val, put your hand on these words. We honor them. They're filled with information. They're filled with conditioning and data that we can now transform together. So honor them, be easy with them, and just notice, wow, what is the effect that you're having? What's going on inside of you? Feel free to share in the chat if you want. For some people, it can be a bit overwhelming to see all these things on the page. It's like we knew they're there, but now, they're really there. So just take them in and just honor yourself for choosing to go to the place that isn't so easy. And as you do, all of life honors you and supports you. And what I want to invite you to do now is just on the other side of the page. So we've gone and written on the one side. It's flipped on this live stream. So on the other side, I want you to now just grab your colors And any residual stuff that words could not name that is covering up that beautiful truth, the love that you are, the acceptance that you are, go ahead and just move it out in lines, colors, shapes, any of that static, any of that heaviness or critical stuff that's still kind of stuck in your craw. Just move it out. And look at Val's hand knows what to do. Just breathe deep into your whole being the way we did in that slow flow breath and just move it out. It's literally how we create a new reality. We're making space and we're taking all those layers off that are covering up the truth of who you are, which is absolutely valuable as you are in your unique essence. And this is how we can grow our self-love. It's like when we want to grow a garden, we have to first tend to the soil. You can't just put the seeds in. You have to dig out all the stuff, the roots and the rocks and the weeds, and get the soil ready. So that's what we're doing now. And Valerie's found a lot of beautiful colors to express that residual static that's in there. Thank you, Valerie. And now, again, if you're watching the replay, take your time with this and you'll start to feel a shift in yourself, potentially. See if you notice that just by moving it out, do you feel some more spaciousness? Can you feel your body moving into a deeper rhythm, more aligned now that a lot of the stuff that really isn't who you are has left your energy field? And now I'm wondering if we start a whole new story. So I invite you to take this page of what was on layering on top and just remove it from your story in any way that feels good. If you watched last live stream, Valerie and I think I ripped up a page. It felt so good. I think Valerie crumpled up a page. Some of you might just want to turn the page, move it out of your field. And this is when you realize all this stuff that has been rambling around in you, it actually isn't you. This is such an important step because you're literally removing memory files that I guess we could say that are kind of like corrupt memory files from your system that are popping up and running interference in a nice smooth flow. So once you've got those pieces ripped up or torn up, I just had a client say today when she did hers before our live stream, oh, I love burning things. I'm going to burn mine up tonight. So if you choose that, find a very safe place to do so. But that's a really gorgeous way to literally see your files clear and go up in smoke. And now move them literally out of view. They're no longer part of you. They are the past. They helped you to reach for something more. They helped you to get to this moment where you choose self-acceptance and self-love. If we really know what we aren't and what we don't want, we can really clearly create what we do. And I invite you into that now. So why don't you go ahead and grab a new page? We're writing a new chapter in your story. And again, delineate, fold it in half if you want. Or if you want to take up more space, go ahead and write a whole page. I don't mind. And then I invite you to just decide on a side and go ahead. Or if you want to take up a whole page, go ahead. And I invite you now to just really lean in. Now that you know what you aren't and what isn't part of you, I want you to just feel in, wow. So when that's all clear and when I can just accept who I truly am as I am, how does that feel? What colors do my hands grab to express that? When I really lean in to the truth of who I am and accept it all, knowing that I never was all that stuff. What shapes and rhythms want to play out? Play yourself that self-acceptance, that self-love. create a love letter of color and lines and shapes. Again, it will probably look very childlike and wondrous because that child that got layered up, she just released, or he just released all those files that were never his or hers to carry. And have fun with this. Just allow yourself to spill this out on the page, just as Val is doing so beautifully. And this kind of art making, it's not done from the linear logical mind, which is, by the way, as I mentioned, only 3 to 5% of our mind capacity. We are inviting your body to engage with the paints or the crayons or the chalks or whatever you have, markers. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're just you're just doodling like playfully with a ballpoint pen. It doesn't matter. You're just moving your new rhythm of energy through you. Can you feel a lightness to yourself? Can you feel an allowing, an acceptance of whatever wants to come through? And you might even notice that little judged critical voice from the residual energy pop back up, maybe saying like, what are you doing? Or that's not so pretty. And just allow it. Invite it in and just say, oh yeah, I know you. I recognize you. You're just a part of my conditioned belief system, but I've cleared you. So why don't you take a seat over by those ripped up papers over there? What we resist persists. So just, it's a part of you that was trying tragically to keep you safe. And it's all you knew, but now you know different. Now you know another way. Today's a special day. So as this image starts to move through you, just feel it in your body. It's a part of you, a much higher, freer, accepting part of you that is literally on a page reflecting back to you the loving, accepting self that you are. And for the sake of time, I would love to give you a couple hours to do this. And in fact, you can do that. If you were in a workshop with me, we give a lot of time to play this way and to continue to unfold and deepen this self-acceptance through the colors that you are. So if you're watching on the replay, go ahead, take your time. And even if you're here with us live, and I'm so grateful you are, just know this image is always there, calling you back to play into. But just now, I want to invite you into a final way to close this and to deepen into this. And that is to write yourself a beautiful self-acceptance love letter. So that's the way to end this incredible new chapter. And to maybe start this as part of a ritual for you every day. I know Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. She does this every day as a meditative practice. To take a moment, to take a few of those slow flow breaths again with pen in hand and maybe a brand new page. Or if you did, if you followed the half page prompt I gave you, and you've got an image on one side, you can use the other side to write yourself a really beautiful, gushy, no holds barred love letter. Mine usually start with, Dear, beautiful, wonderful Corey. It's so easy to write love letters to those outside of us, but have you ever written one for yourself? Thank you so much, Valerie. I can feel so much freedom and just a lot of space in your love image to yourself, your love letter painting to yourself. So just in this flow, and again, writing not from the mind, trying to figure out what to write. Keep in that flow. Let your pen, remember, subconscious, write it from the body and the heart. That's 95% of who you are. Write it from the truth of who you are. Just flow out a love letter. And maybe some of you will just have words tumble out. Maybe a bunch of loving words, self-accepting, self-loving words will flow out. Maybe whole paragraphs will flow out. You write and you write. And how you know you're complete is you'll just know. Again, it's like when we eat a meal and suddenly we feel full and complete. But for many of us, we've never done it before. If it's a new thing, there's probably a whole lot of love in you that's ready to express now that you've cleared off all those layers that were covering up or running interference.
Thank you so much, Corey. Um, I can share my experience if you don't mind. So, by studying, I had a lot of thoughts of how people called me when, from childhood, from parents and friends, what I wasn't good at. That's what came up, from what you were saying, and emotions that came through while I was doing the oil pastels. But then with watercolors, I have done the opposite, the rebellion part of me. And then I was just want to share the words that came through while I was doing that. So I'm going to use these cards that kind of represent what I felt, is that I'm empowered, and that the colors of being grateful. I am open to receive, perceptive. I am giving, humble, creative, and nurturing. And that's the similar colors that came through for me in that, in that opening of self-acceptance, the part of myself that I try to hide most of the time. So we would like to hear your stories on how you felt during this exercise, and I will take my time after this stream to write a letter to myself. So, what do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I absolutely celebrate the way that you were able to sense into that part of you. And yeah, it is quite a rush in a 30-minute live stream. I love what Eugene shared. Self acceptance is an infinite exercise. And yes, and look at Valerie shared with us, like it takes that when we give these invitations, it takes everyone on a certain string. And for all those cards you shared too, Valerie, they really speak to that self-acceptance piece. Even if you're just watching now and just noticing, wow, I really struggle in this part, it probably means you were layered up with a lot of criticism and judgment, and it's very, very real, and it's very felt. So if you feel you do need more work in this, that's really good information too. And it is, if it's a conditioning piece, if something's been put on, the good news is it's not the essence and truth of who you are. It can be released. So that's really good to know. Thank you so much, Val. I love how open and transparent you are with your process. It's really a gift to everybody.
So it is interesting to discover your strengths during these exercises, because every time you do something, it's completely new experience of what comes through. Mm-hmm. So you never, it's like a discovery every time of yourself, of what come to you, because I've never thought that the voices, even like I felt the voices of people who were talking to me and telling me what I wasn't doing good, and then after hearing it, I realized it was so stuck in my head as a belief of who I am, which is not my actual true self. So yes, rewriting these words, rewriting it with words is important as well. So finding the names for who you are and start a new belief of understanding yourself is I think it's what I'm gonna do now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for such, deep and short at the same time exercise. And I'm so grateful for everyone who is watching and will watch and join us in next 2 weeks. Thank you. Thank you, Corey.
Thanks so much.